PC gaming. It's somewhat of a frontier. These are the episodes of the Quick Save Club. Its continuing mission to explore classic PC games, to seek out new retro and new indie games, to boldly play what few gamers have made the time to play before. Hey now everybody, Buried on Mars here, and welcome to Quick Save Club episode number 7. Now you might be asking yourself, if you're new here, what is the Quick Save Club? Well, I got answers for you. The Quick Save Club is a PC-focused spin-off of the Cartridge Club, where every month we choose a retro, classic, or indie PC game to play. During the month, we discuss our experiences as we play the PC Game of the Month with the Quick Save Club community on Discord and over on the forums located at www.cartridgeclub.org. At the end of the month, we pick a member or two in the community to record a podcast with to talk about the game. And that's what this is. That's what you're listening to right now. In the coming months, we'll be playing Age of Empires. In December, we'll be choosing a PC simulator of your choice, and we're just going to talk about PC simulators in general. Then in January, we'll be playing Thief, then Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Duke Nukem 3D, and finally Terraria. At the end of this episode, we will be letting you help us decide on our Game of the Month for May 2020, so you're going to want to stay to the end to find out how you can help us. If any of this sounds like fun to you, if any of those games sound interesting to you, you might want to hit us up on Twitter or on Discord and join in. On Twitter, we are at Quick Save Club, and on Discord, just look up the Quick Save Club and we're there. Reminder for you to not only check out the Quick Save Club, but there's also other clubs out there like the Cartridge Club, who in October will be playing Metal Gear 3. CC Portable, which is the portable spin-off of the Cartridge Club, will be playing Alien Infestation on the Nintendo DS. And RF Generation, our friends over there at RF Gen, will be playing Hellblade Sasuna. So if you're interested in any of those games, check them out. Everyone's got forums and stuff. It's just a lot of fun to get to these games in your backlog, or even try something new and have a group of people out there to play along with. That's what these clubs are all about, man. It's a lot of fun. This month, for episode 7, we played Seventh Guest. This is a classic PC puzzle adventure game. It was produced by Trilobyte and originally released by Virgin Interactive Entertainment in 1993. Seventh Guest made a major impact on PC gaming in the 90s, as it was an early example of full motion video, and one of the first computer video games to be exclusive not only to the PC, but to the CD-ROM format. The game is played by wandering through a mansion, solving logic puzzles, and watching videos that further the story. The main antagonist, Henry You'll find out more about Henry before the end of the episode, is an ever-present menace, taunting the player with clues, mocking the player as they fail his puzzles, and expressing displeasure when they succeed. The plot is gradually played out in flashback by actors through film clips as the player progresses between rooms by solving 21 puzzles of shifting nature and increasing difficulty. This month, all 3 hosts are present. Myself, Buried on Mars, aka Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Josh, Frantic Society, and Ryan, the Retro Gamer Ranting. Our guest this month is Sarka Sim, blogger extraordinaire from the blog copygaming.wordpress.com. Sarka is a veteran of adventure games, point-and-click games, and hidden object games, so you're definitely going to want to check out what she has to say about Seventh Guest. And a word of warning ahead of time, we do jump around a little bit. We try to stick to a format, but we do like to have the natural flow of conversation. So if we do jump from one topic to the next, it's just how we do. Okay, that's enough of a preamble. Now let's get on with the show. Well, I guess first we should welcome our guest, Sarka Sim, to the podcast for the very first time. Welcome her to the Quick Save Club. Hello, Sarka.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hello? Do I call you Sarka or can I call you Sarah?
Just don't call me late for dinner.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Sarah.
Start with a classic.
For those of you that don't know, Sarah is not only a member of the Quick Save Club, but my wife as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
For 19 years.
That's right. Celebrated our 19th year of marriage on Monday. This is past Monday.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's been an easy 19 years, I would say. Wouldn't you say? Been easy?
Sure. Mostly, yeah, I guess so.
All right. See how we support each other?
He knows the right thing to say.
That's right. Okay, well, we better get moving because it is Halloween Eve right now, and I'm missing Game 7 of the World Series. So let's get to it.
Let's crack it.
So last episode, Josh correctly called this portion of the podcast story time. I like that. We should stick with that and call it story time. So this is normally where we talk about our past history with the game that we've played, if we played it before, if we have any stories or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure this is a Quick Save Club first, where everybody here has played the game for the first time. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is everyone's first rodeo with 7th guest. So we have no stories. Unless we have a story this time to share. Nothing. No adventure.
First time I ever played it.
I guess it will be known as my first game on the new GOG.com Galaxy client beta thing that I got into. So this was
I actually played a little bit on GOG, and I actually played it on my wife's old laptop because I managed to track down an old copy, and I didn't want to mess with trying to get to work on a new computer.
Right.
So I broke out her old college laptop, which I think still has Windows 9. Did it have 98 or 95 on it? I think it's 98. But I managed to get it running on that. So I tried playing it on that just to get the experience.
Well, that's
cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it made it better or worse. It might have been worse.
Because I was going to call you out on that because on the new GOG Galaxy client, I could see what my friends are playing, and I could see how many hours they put into a game. And I knew
you were going to do that.
Oh,
so that's why I'm jumping on that right now to say.
You knew where I was going because the amount of time you spent on this game, according to GOG, you would not be able to complete the game.
Well, I tried it on GOG to see what the revamped version looked like, and it looked like complete ass. And I tried it on the old version, and it still looked really bad.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but it was an experience. It really was.
Well, Josh, you were saying that the game looked blurry to you, and I didn't.
Yeah.
You guys felt that too? I didn't.
I don't know. It has some kind of like weird distortion. I felt like on the video.
Oh, definitely on the full motion video stuff.
Yeah, definitely. The CG stuff wasn't too bad. I would just mostly say the video was kind of
okay. Yeah, I think that's just
that's because they had to upload it from like a DOS, right? Games. Yeah. So makes sense.
Still images were fine, but once there was movement, and it also was they were trying, like when they did do full motion video, they were trying to make it like a memory. It was trying to be foggy anyway, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that didn't help. It didn't translate very well when they tried to upscale it or whatever they did with the re-release, Yeah. So
I just set it to original graphics with original aspect, and I think it looked the best, on this version that we played. So.
How did you change? Yeah, I didn't mess with any of that. I just played the latest version. How did you change? You got someone crawling in the background there, Josh. Very distracting. You have a human cat living with you, I think.
I don't know why she did that. Okay.
Well, got another visual gag for this audio podcast. Where do I go from there? How did you?
It was in the settings.
In the
settings? It should have been in the settings to chat. I didn't mess with it myself, like I said, because I tried the original
Yeah.
So I just,
it was in the settings. I hit settings and video, and it was there.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I didn't even notice it. I played the enhanced version all the way through.
Do you explore the menu at all?
No. Well, all I looked for was like, what is the aspect ratio? What is the resolution? I didn't see any of that, so I don't know. I guess I just thought, I guess it's just one thing, so I'm just going with it.
It looked terrible, though. It looked awful. That video, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It just looked pixelized and.
Okay.
Just.
Well, before we get into trashing this game, let's get into some fun facts. We do have some good things to say about this game, right? It's not going to be because we might have like people who have never listened to the show before that are huge fans of the Seventh Guest, and this is the first episode they listen to, and
you might want to mute. You might want to mute me now. Then.
Well, I do have some good things to say. Not all good, but I do have some good things to say.
I do have some things too.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's get into the fun facts. So does everyone have their document open?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sarah, do you have your document open there? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel. Are we in school all of a sudden?
Well,
everyone, open your documents to page 25.
Well, what usually
paragraph 6.
What usually happens is somebody doesn't have it open, and then we have to wait for them to open it. So.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, I was having it open, I thought.
All right.
I'm joking.
I know.
Okay, who wants to give us the first fun fact? How about you, Josh? Go for it. Give us fun fact number 1.
All right. The Seventh Guest was the brainchild of Rob Landeros and Graham Devine, who are both working as graphic designers and programmers at Virgin Games. When the duo presented their idea to Virgin Games, they were promptly fired so that with Virgin's help, they can start their own company, Trilobite, who would be dedicated solely to Seventh Guest development.
That's kind of weird.
Promptly fired.
Yeah.
So they could help them start
quotes.
a new company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that... I want to know more about that.
Well, I'm guessing like the Virgin Games, like Virgin Games would be a part of Virgin, right? The entire empire. Mm-hmm. And I guess that they would not, as a division of this company, would not have the necessary, what's the word? Resources for them to do this thing. You know, like they would need to go, like probably the company itself, like doesn't want to spend that much on developing games and that. So they probably had to go make a whole new company in order to make this thing. Because this game was not cheap for them to make. No. We'll get into that in some more fun facts. Ryan, how about you give us the next fun fact? Because it's only one sentence. And I know how much you like reading.
I'm going to screw up a word already. What the heck is that word? Okay. Anyway, Baird on Mars loves it when I screw up words, so let's do this. The developers chose to use simple, textless, TV remote control-like user interface to make the game the answer to the question, what would Mom play?
There you go. You did that very well. That was good. That was flawless.
For some reason, textless was messing with me today.
You made it through.
I made it.
No problem.
What would Mom play?
Yeah, so I guess that's why it's kind of a simple... It is a simple interface.
Yes, I did. I was actually afraid. I've never played it before, so I know how a lot of those old point-and-click games are. I was afraid it was going to be like an inventory system. I was afraid there was going to be stuff like you have to remember to keep this and to use it this, but it wasn't. It wasn't like that at all. So I was happy with that. The interface was just simple, point, click, drag, all that good stuff. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Okay, Sarah, you want to give us the next fun fact?
Sure. To simplify porting the game to consoles such as the SNES CD, the game used 24-bit Super VGA graphics. Devine created the Groovy game engine, which allowed continuous streaming of data from CD-ROM. The Seventh Guest was the first graphic adventure to use 640 by 320 graphics with 256 colors. Trilobite reportedly spent more than $500,000 over more than 2 years to produce the graphics.
There you go. That's $500,000 just on the graphics alone. In 1991, 92, when they made this game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They were ready. They were getting ready to port this game onto the Super Nintendo CD add-on, which didn't happen and became the PlayStation 1. Fun fact.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Early blue screen footage used for the FMV portions of the game was imperfect and left ghostly auras, which they left in as a feature. See, that was a feature that you guys are complaining about. That was a feature for the puzzle.
A happy accident is what that was. They're like, hey, we can make this work.
It's a feature. For the puzzles, the dev used ones that they found in puzzle books from the 19th century.
Wow.
That explains a lot, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
It certainly does.
Okay, Josh, you're up next.
Okay. I lost my place. The Seventh Guest is widely regarded as a killer app that accelerated the sales of CD-ROM drives and PCs. As of July 1995, it was still the best-selling game on CD-ROM until it was eventually surpassed by Myst. By the year 2000, its sales surpassed 2 million copies.
Wow.
All right, and Ryan, got a nice big paragraph there.
While the SNES CD port of the game wasn't meant to be, The Seventh Guest was ported onto Mac computers in CDI. Oh, the wonderful CDI.
Yeah.
Both versions were well received. The sequel to The Seventh Guest was released in 1995, titled The 11th Hour, and in 2011, the website AdventureGames.com ranked The Seventh Guest as 82nd best adventure game ever released.
Ever, of all time.
Wow.
Made the list.
Wow.
Okay, before we get into it a little more, let's just talk about the plot. So, Harry Stauff, is that how you say the name? Stauff? S-T-A-U-F? Stauff?
Staff.
All right,
Henry, staff.
Staff?
I don't know. Yeah.
It depends on where you're from. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Okay.
I think they said it in the game, but I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Henry Baby had a mansion, and it was abandoned for a long time. Henry Baby's mansion has been abandoned for as long as anyone dared to remember. Henry Baby was a toy maker, a maker of amazing puzzles, and his strange, eerie mansion was his greatest creation. It stands empty, rotting, ever since children started dying from his toys near them. With his toys near him, ever since 6 guests came and were never seen again. Now you are in the house, moving from room to room, trying to remember, trying to forget, because Henry Baby's game isn't over. There were 6 guests the world knew about, and there was one other. The mansion of horror comes to life again, and only you can end this mad nightmare and learn the secret of Seventh Guest. See, my problem here is I copied and pasted from Steam. I should have copied and pasted from Google, because that was
the opening cinematic. It expands upon that a little bit more, because it shows that staff there, Henry Stuff or whatever his name is, Henry Baby.
Yes.
He was kind of a creeper. He robbed people. He was a no good fuddy-duddy, basically. He was this evil person.
Yeah, he was a drifter that would just go around and rob people and then move on to the next town.
And he'd rob and move, and then all of a sudden he just sort of lucked into making how is it now? Who asked for a toy?
He had a vision. He had a vision. He was like he hit rock bottom, as they say, like he was in a ditch kind of thing, and he had a vision of this doll, and so he made through this vision. He just worked tirelessly on making this doll. And the doll caught on like wildfire. Kids loved it. Yeah. Everybody wanted this doll. He made a ton of money. Then he started making other toys and got a ton of money to make this mansion.
Yeah. And that's what... So it kind of leaves out the part where he already was a horrible, rotten being to start with, and then he started having these demonic visions of toys that got kids sick and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they never really explain. There's a lot that is never really explained. There's a lot of plot holes in this story. So for some reason, so he gets this vision. We don't know if what evil thing gave him this vision or whatever. When he makes these toys, are these toys like was this like some sort of evil plot by this evil thing? Was he possessed by this thing? Is he just naturally evil?
I feel like since he already was evil, he was kind of a vessel for a more evil being, like you said, like maybe like a demon or something, and they were using him to create these evil toys to either possess these children or take these children or whatever the heck it was. Like that's kind of how because he already was this horrible, rotten person, and so of course he was the perfect vessel for a evil entity to possess and use for a nefarious plot. That's what my imagination got out of that. I know other people could probably take something else out of it. But I just thought, well, they really revved up the fact that this guy was a bad person. And now all of a sudden he's making toys for kids. Why?
Yeah.
Obviously it'd be for something really, really bad,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got out of it.
The premise part of you walking through this mansion that was created by this evil person or whatever, and you gotta, like, I don't know why you have to solve these puzzles. And the puzzle thing doesn't make too much sense.
Well, I mean, I guess we can go spoilers. He's in purgatory, right? That's kind of like the concept of the whole story. Like he's stuck in a loop where he's
who's in purgatory? The protagonist,
the main character, protagonist.
Okay.
They call Ego. I looked up the name. They never said it in the actual game. I don't think.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, we won't get too spoilery just yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, he's basically has to solve these puzzles to figure out what happened and who he is. That's pretty much the premise.
Right.
That's why we're doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still very vague.
Yeah.
So I got a question. What are all your guys' definition of what an adventure game is? Because like we saw in the facts, The Seventh Guest was the 82nd best adventure game ever released. We played The Secret of Monkey Island, and that felt like an adventure game to me. This didn't.
You're going on a trip. Like, that's how I feel. Like,
yeah.
Adventure, you're going somewhere. And here, in this game, you're just exploring the mansion. So I guess it's sort of an adventure because you're exploring the entire mansion, but I don't know, loosely.
Yeah, this didn't. I don't know. This didn't cover my definition of adventure because, like I said, you were clicking on a lot of things, you were doing puzzles, but it felt like you got a puzzle. Oh, look, you got a full motion video explaining the story, or something like that.
And then you're having to navigate the
yeah, I guess because you're navigating the mansion, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of wondering what the actual definition of what an adventure game entails, and I guess it's a pretty wide.
Yeah, it is. Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is the part that we edited out. The thing.
Pause?
Okay. I guess I got to move on to something else. Okay. So, how did you find moving? Like, this was designed for moms. This game. So, poor moms. I guess they're not gamers. My mom can't be a gamer, I guess. But how did you find moving around the house? Was it clunky, awkward? Good? Was it easy? What'd you think? Was it dated?
To me,
Give me something.
It was dated, but I don't think it was that hard to figure out. Honestly, I don't know.
It wasn't. Like Josh says, it was a clunky navigation. I found that you're clicking. And then you're having to swing all the way over there just to go left. And then you can actually make a firm left. So it was a bit slow. It took its time. But I think it's age. I think it was just the age of the game. That's just how it was back then. Yeah.
The weirdest example of that I could think of is the laboratory where you go in and... to get to the exit, there's a microscope in the laboratory, and you to go left. When you click left, the camera goes all the way to the microscope on the other side of the room, swings all the way around, and then gets to the door. It just seems like a weird thing that it has to take you all the way around the room just to go left.
An overly dramatic camera swing.
Yeah,
right.
And everything. They were trying to make it cinematic, kind of like the old back in the day in order to cover up loading screens, like the Resident Evil game went up to the door and the door slowly opened and then you went inside the door. So I think this was kind of their way of maybe hiding loading in a way, making it kind of a slow pan, or let's go here first to go there. Something that's maybe my theory on it. But yeah, it was a bit dramatic.
Sorry. Maybe between the the two directions, it's like a little video that plays. You know what I mean? Because it's always a set exact motion. Yeah. So say you click left and it does that big motion, you have to do it every single time. So maybe it's like a video that plays in the background that, seamlessly loads in, and then it loads the next part of the world. Maybe. Yeah.
I also
that's the theory.
I also found a lot of the shortcuts that you discover, that you stumble on, a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes you'd find a shortcut, and it's like, okay, this is an easy way to get up the stairs or down, or to get to the second floor or whatever. And other times, you're just exploring, you're just looking around, and you'll discover one, and it's like, well, you got to go on the ride, and you got to go up to the second level or whatever. And it's like, I'm not finished the puzzle here, and now I'm on the second level, and I got to go all the way back down, to get to the thing or whatever. I wish there was a way that you could have canceled that or whatever, but again, it's probably just the age of the game, right?
And also, like, checking the map. I find you check the map, and then it puts you to a totally different area that you have to backtrack back to your original place,
Yeah, especially on the second floor. It would do that all the time. You take a couple of steps down the hallway. It's like, is this the room I need to go to on the left? So you check your map. Okay, yeah, that's the room. And when you exit out of the map, you're back at the beginning of the second level. It's not a big deal, you only got to click a couple of times, but still, it's like, how did I get over here?
It can be disorienting, because you go to the second floor and it's like, okay, where's the staircase? Which hallway am I in? And so then you get kind of mixed up, and then you're checking the map again, and it's like a loop.
Yeah, thankfully the environments were not too large, so it's not that big of a problem, because you're in a small space. If this game was any bigger, it would have been a real huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's not that much backtracking compared to some games that I've played, where it's like, oh gosh, I have to go all the way down that pathway to go across the forest to go back to that. It's pretty self-contained in this game. You only have like a few floors to worry about, and and one small area. If you're on the second floor and you check the map and you go back, you only have a hallway to contend with. But so in that way, it's not that bad. But yeah.
I will say one of the better parts of the game is the audio. I do feel like this was a CD-ROM game, and they probably put a little more extra care and effort into all the music and everything, because that's one of the features from a CD-ROM, is that you could play real-life music, like with real instruments. It's not like beeps and boops. And you can have like real voice dialogue and all that, and that I do feel has held up in the game. I thought the music was really good and all the sound effects. Even the acting is a little. I mean, it's full motion video acting from. I don't even know if these are actors at times.
C-list acting, yes.
I think they went to found the local theater group kind of thing, and just
it has a good charm to it.
It does. There is a certain charm to it, because it is a bit of a campy, cheesy story game kind of thing. So it works on some level.
They were having fun. You could tell they were having fun. They were being vaudevillains. They were being vaudevillian, if that's the thing. They're just like, be over dramatic, because this was back when full motion video was a new thing. They were going to be in a small window anyway at the time, for the most part. So you had to be a little more dramatic and more boastful in order to get your stuff.
Silent film star. Looks like a silent film star, like over exaggerated.
Well, it came across to me like stage acting. Because that's what you got to do on a stage, because you're playing to an audience, and you need to, you got to play to the people in the back, right? You got to do big gestures and that.
They already spent how much money on the graphics engine
thing?
So they basically went down to the local community theater and said, "We can't pay you anything.
Yeah,
you want to be in the game,
but you could be in this game, And so there you go. That's why not.
So I thought that was all good. The only dated part of the audio was some of the audio clips while you're playing a puzzle, especially like some of the puns and jokes that they would try to put in there, like the night puzzle, for instance, from the chessboard, and it's like, I hope you don't take all night, and you got to wait for the thing to load up the audio and play the audios, and you're just like, I just want to move this piece, dude. Just shut up, you know?
I literally, when I would start a puzzle, I would mute it because I was getting annoyed by why do they have to. I understand when the player, or the person you're playing as, is making a comment to give you a hint. I get that, but it's like, you don't have to keep talking. Just shut up. Yeah. We know you're talking. Yeah.
But everything else I thought was well done. Okay, let's get into it. The big one. And I see Josh added some questions in here. He wants to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Let's get into the gameplay, aka the puzzles of this beast. I think I'm just gonna let the cat out of the bag. Just get right to it right now. I think the puzzles in this game, like when we read in the fun facts that they took them from from books of the 19th century, it shows. The puzzles in this game, I'll say the best.
Too long.
Some were too long. They were not very well. And the best I could come away with was, after doing one, was like, okay, that one wasn't too bad. That puzzle was okay. And that's the best I could say for most of these puzzles. Some of them were just really obtuse. You didn't get any sort of indication what the solution is. They would just give you this puzzle, and there was no, like, what am I doing? Like, what do I need to do? Sometimes it was simple. You need to, it would give you this photo at the beginning. You need to recreate this photo, or, like the one where it flips over, of the castle. That one's, okay, I get my end goal, that where you're the guy's portrait, and you got to, like, clear his portrait. I get that. But then sometimes it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like the coffin one, for instance, you get through this crazy maze that we can talk about in a bit, but then you get to this coffin, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I have to either open all these lids or close all these lids, but I didn't know which one. Which one do I need to do? Am I opening these or am I closing these? What am I doing here? So I don't know. What did you guys think of the puzzles? Ryan, you're ready. You look like you're ready you got something to say.
Go ahead, man.
I hate puzzle games.
This is a good game for you.
It's not a game for you.
No, I've never been a fan. And when I realized that 98% of this game was puzzles, I immediately go, oh, this is... and I'm going to admit this, and you guys can flog me for it, but guess what? I did look up walkthroughs.
Okay, because it was nice having you in the Quick Save Club.
I did.
You're going to have to hand in your card.
Know.
You're done.
Oh, shut up. Oh, like you've never looked at a walkthrough before. But, yeah, some of them were so frustrating to the fact that I didn't want to lose any more hair than I already have been losing. So I did have to look it up, especially that maze that you said we're going to talk about later. But, yeah, if it's the best puzzle or favorite puzzle, was probably the first one with the cake, because I actually figured that one out pretty easily. That's the best puzzle. After that, I didn't enjoy any of them. That was about it. But yeah, I'm not a puzzle guy. That's all I can say.
Well, I'll just say, because I was accused of looking up for a walkthrough, every time I was tempted to look up a walkthrough in this game, I just turned to my Bible and I just opened that, and then that gave me some.
There you go.
No, I was a total walkthrough whore throughout this entire game. It was just, I could not wrap my head around a lot of what this game was trying to tell me. Like, move, like you start a puzzle and the guy would say side left and side right and side north and everything blows in the east and the west. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Just give me, like,
I feel like, yeah,
if it just gave me an image of, okay, this is the final result. Okay, that's my goal. Now I know what I need to do. You know.
And that's why I muted it, is because sometimes they'd say something and then your mind would switch to, like, is that a clue?
Yeah.
Am I doing that?
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, and then it messes you up and you're like, I don't know. I've literally rage quit this game so many times.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Oh. High five you. Not good.
All right.
My God.
All right, Sarah, go ahead. Vent away.
I just felt like I needed you needed a Mensa IQ to play this game. I found it so obtuse. The story was dumb, hard to follow. The puzzles were, 19th century, which was basically chess.
Yeah, there was a lot of three chess puzzles.
The chess ones.
I can't play chess to save my life, so it was sort of like, oh great, I see knights here. Okay. I'm like, how do I navigate this? And
I was a checkers person myself.
Yeah, and I was checking a walkthrough all the time. I was constantly rage quitting. Anytime that Kevin came into the room, I was like, I can't get this. I've checked YouTube, I've checked my walkthroughs. There's no solution to this. And, it was just bitch fest central in front of my computer the whole time. Like, I hated this game. It was awful. I hated it. The puzzles weren't accessible, and there was no benefit of a skip button. You had to complete them in order to move on. Not that I'm used to having a skip button or anything, but it was like sooner or later, okay, enough already. Okay, sooner or later, after spending an hour on one puzzle, it's time to move on here, people.
Well, I will say that in defense of the game, in that regard, you didn't have to complete the puzzle and not move on. It's non-linear in a way. When you unlock part of the game, you'd have your option between 3 or 4 different puzzles to do at a time. So if one is frustrating you, you can leave it and go and try and do something else.
Well, how do you initially know that? That's the thing.
Well, on the map, it does tell you which rooms you have access to. So it's a different color, and it would tell you, you have access to 3 different rooms. So you can go into those 3 different rooms, and you have a puzzle in each room.
But what puzzle unlocks a new room is what I'm saying. I don't know. That confused me initially.
Basically, you had to, if it unlocked 3 rooms, you can go into any one of those 3 rooms. But you'd have to unlock, you'd have to do those 3 puzzles, and then that would unlock the next set kind of thing. So at some point, you would get to a point where it's like, okay, I did the other 2. This is the only one left, and I have to do this puzzle in order to move on. But at least it did give you that option at the beginning, to
I guess
mess around.
That didn't click with me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh. I know you're chomping at the bit here.
Go ahead, Josh.
for it.
You've been quiet. Let's go.
I'm not as down on the game, I don't think. I mean, it's not I wouldn't say it's a great game, honestly, but I actually had some fun with some of the puzzles. I'm not going to be like all of them sucked or anything. The ones I did enjoy was what was that one with the stars? We had to go 3 up, 5 back, or whatever, and make a little thing, words that go around the board.
The bedspread puzzle.
That one clicked my brain. I was like, okay, that was kind of fun to puzzle out. And then there was the heart one that's on the carpet. You look down and you have to do the pathway. That was pretty fun to puzzle out.
You move the gates, right?
Move the gates around,
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, you go under and over.
The only thing with that was that your pointer is like this eyeball, so it kept covering the gate. So I did not like that. If it was just a small little arrow, where I could see if the gate was open or closed or not, or what direction it was going in. That's the only thing I didn't like about that.
The thing that gave me a bad impression of the game. So the first puzzle I did was the cake. You have to do the cake to separate it. And that one's pretty easy. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then I go into the kitchen, and the tin can puzzle just frustrated me. And it was the weirdest sentence ever. I don't even know, words I would never use.
The only vowels are Y's for some reason. And it does, see, again, that was another puzzle where it didn't tell you, what are you doing? Are you spelling out words? Well, no, that doesn't make sense. All I see are Y's. So am I sorting these by color? Is the top one only supposed to have 5 cans and the second row have 8 or something? Or what am I doing with these cans? There's just no...
And the words you're coming up with, okay.
Tryst or, just weird, old-timey words. Yeah.
Old-timey words.
Well, I think Leonard Skinner came up with that puzzle. That's for all you old folks out there. All the millennials are scratching their heads right now. What is he talking about?
Was it even spelled right? I couldn't. I remember looking at the sentences going, they didn't even have the word spelled right.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was with the decision to make them all Y. Every vowel a Y. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I was the only one whose my first puzzle was the spider puzzle on the door, because I just turned around and I did that one first. Was I the only one that did that first?
I
didn't do it first. I actually just did it like after a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Took me a while to get to it.
Actually,
I don't know.
yeah, me too.
It's kind of a habit I'm in with video games. I'm always looking. I don't know. I guess for the collecting item or something like that. You always turn around and go back, because that's where they always hide something back behind you.
Because I turned around and it showed the cutscene with one of the guests coming in.
Yeah.
Which we should actually talk about the other guests, because they were interesting characters.
Well, are we done with the puzzles? Or have we?
We can be after this. But I remember turning around and seeing the little cutscene where the disembodied ghost of what his name is talking, or he was reading a letter. That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah, we can be done with the puzzles. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the piano thing.
Yeah, he's got some
the
stuff.
Piano. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. This puzzle frustrated me so much. Basically, you eventually unlock the piano room, the music room, and you go down in there and you have to basically play Simon Says with, Stoff or whatever his name is. He does like 2, and then you do 2, and then 3. And I'm like, okay, I can remember this, the pattern for the piano after, 10 or so, and then my brain would be like, wait, is that the next one, or is that the next one? And I did this I don't know. I spent the most time on this puzzle because it was just so frustrating. And if you mess up, it's very slowly have to do it all over again. And so I was like, you know what? I went to my whiteboard in there. I have like a calendar with the whiteboard markers, and I went and I started writing 1, 2, 3 on my actual computer monitor.
Nice.
Just so I can get this puzzle done.
Yeah, it was 18 keys, a series of 18 keys that you had to do in order. And if you screwed up once, it would start back at the beginning. Not where you got to start at the beginning and go through 18 keys. It would be like he would show, at the beginning of the puzzle, he'd be like, okay, this is the first one I hit. First key, bonk. And then and then you hit the first key. And then he'd do, okay, the next one is 2 keys, bonk, bonk. And then you do the 2 keys. If you messed up on number 17, you're starting that all the way at the beginning and going through it all over again. It went on way too long. If that puzzle was cut in half, it would have been okay. It would have been an okay Simon Says puzzle. But it's 18 keys. That's way too much. It's stupid. So yeah, I actually used your, because you posted that photo in Discord, and I actually used your photo to follow along. And then when I got to up to I was pretty confident with the first 8 or so. I would just zip through them. Okay, I got this, and then I would look. Okay, But then when I got to 16 and 17, I was so paranoid I was going to make a mistake, and I was like, okay, 1. Yeah, okay, this is definitely 1. I was double checking and everything. Man, yeah, that puzzle is. It wasn't good times. That was an example of one that went on way too long. Okay, I do want to talk about some puzzles though that I did. Think we're okay. I think we're pretty good. Actually, my favorite puzzle wasn't even really a puzzle. It was the mini game, the microscope mini game. I actually really enjoyed that one. I thought that was fun.
Oh.
I thought that was I could almost play that as a game. If it was
it'd be a cool phone game or something.
Yeah,
right?
Or it was like Tetris.
It reminded me of something I've played in the past. I think someone has I played a flash game like it. So I think it's been made or they copied it from someone else. I don't know, but it's. Yeah.
If the puzzles in this game were like that, I would be way up high on this game. I would I
agree.
It would get a high recommendation because I thought that one was, it wasn't one where it was a brain teaser. You were actually playing against the computer AI kind of thing and trying to figure it out. I don't know how I beat him. I eventually did beat him. I don't know how. Just got to the end. And actually, when I was sat down, I was trying to explain this mini game to Sarah, and I was like, you know what, just give me the mouse and I'll show you. And I'm not going to win, but I'll show you how to do it. And I ended up winning a second time. I don't know how, because I don't know what the nuance is of that. I don't know what the strategy is. I would just try different things, But I thought that one was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Did you guys like any of the puzzles besides the cake one? That was any of the other ones?
I like the flipping of the picture, creating the picture. So mansion. I did enjoy that one.
Yeah,
that one. I agree with Barry on Mars. That one wasn't too bad because it actually didn't feel well. Yeah, there were puzzle elements to it because there was more strategy. But yeah, it felt more like it felt so different from everything you were playing. It was kind of refreshing.
I think that that one definitely was. They did not find that one in a 19th century book somewhere.
Yeah.
That one.
And the Simon Says one. I'm pretty sure that one was commonplace too.
Do the piano thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the knife to unlock that last door to jump the knives. That's actually like an old board game my grandparents used to have, basically, like with pegs.
Right.
And I used to play that with my grandparents. So I was like, oh, I actually know what this game is. It's basically just jump over a peg and remove a peg till you have one left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I used to have one of those triangles with the pegs.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar to that. Yeah. So.
Right.
What'd you guys think of the final puzzle? The going up the tower there with the windows. I know Sarah didn't get that far, but did you? What the heck was that thing about? I just thought that one was just kind
of look that one up. I'm not gonna lie, I looked that one up.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand like what we were supposed to do, and
it's complicated. Like so. There are 4 different types of windows, right? There was the circle, the rectangle, and then like a half circle and another one. And basically, the first move you do per window is the assigned movement for that window. So if you do up with the circle, you're going to be going up with all the circles. If you go right with the rectangles, you go right with the rectangles every time to light up the next one. So, yeah. And you got to just keep clicking away till you figure that out, pretty much.
I didn't even...
Yeah. I looked it up. I looked at the solution. I just looked a picture of it up and just did it because I was like, man, I did it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I don't get what I'm supposed to do here.
Yeah,
and I just looked it up. Yeah. So
the other one that was weird was that floor pit puzzle. That one just seemed what was that? I didn't.
Yeah. I went all the way around and I got to the arrow and I'm like, okay, I did it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, wait, what? And so I kept doing it and then I'm just like, I don't get. And then I had to look it up too because I'm like,
when I
did it like 3 or 4 times. Like I did it. I felt like I found the solution. You know, I don't know. Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know what it was trying to tell me.
A perfect way of describing this game is, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you asking of me?
And then, of course, the maze where I just basically clicked my way randomly through that. I just literally found the solution to the maze just by clicking. Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe this one. Click. Nope. Okay, click.
For you.
Eventually, I found it. It took me a little while, but yeah, I just clicked my way through it. I got lucky.
I was spinning my wheels in there. I was going all over the place till eventually I just looked up a YouTube video, and the guy's computer that he was playing the game on was a lot slower than mine. So that was perfect because I could see him. Okay, he's going straight. I'll go straight, and then I would just wait for him to catch up to me. Okay, he's making a left. Go left.
It was frustrating because I was in there for a while. And then I end up right back at the grate. I'm like, are you serious? That's the most frustrating thing.
And and if you just keep going straight, you eventually get to a skeleton who's pointing left. Which is, and he's not pointing to the exit. He's just pointing to a dead end. That son of a.
Yep.
And at the end of the game, there's a skeleton that comes out of a chest, and he points to like the last room, and I'm like, this better not be another friggin' trick by a stupid skeleton. I did like the spider puzzle on the door. I thought I figured all that one. I did not look that one up. I figured that all out logically. I thought that one was good. I thought the coin ones were good, where you go up and down and run. Cool. That was definitely from a 19th century book, but I thought that one was okay. And the card ones were okay as well. The chess ones I thought were really obtuse.
Frustrating.
Like, the queen one I didn't find too bad, but the rest of them were. And then there was the telescope one. That one was okay. So a lot of them were just okay, you know. Yeah. All right. That's it for the puzzles. Anything else to say about them?
No, I mean, I think they just kind of put this game feels more like this is cool tech. Here we are. You know what I mean? Let's put some puzzles in here. Yes. You know what I mean? It's kind of like almost like a tech demo.
It's funny, like when I was playing this game, that was the vibe I was getting. And when I read like when I was doing the research and reading the fun facts, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense now. I understand why this game is. This was like, we have all this technology, we can make this game around this new technology and all that. And after they created the rooms, after they created some of the music, some of the sound effects, had some of the ideas, they're like, oh yeah, we need some puzzles in here. And actually the puzzles that they were going to use originally for it were copyright. Like they found out that at some point during development that, oh, we can't use these because somebody actually owns the copyright to these puzzles. We can't use them. So that's where they started to look for the old books to throw in these other puzzles. And to me, like a game like this, the puzzles need to be the thing. It's the gameplay is the thing. All the other stuff is just window dressing. And when you have a game that's now 30 years old and looks and play like a 30-year-old game, there's really, I'm getting to my final thoughts here, I think. There's really no point to going back and playing this if you don't have that hook, if you don't have like some interesting games to play.
They were thinking of it as, like you said in the facts, it was a killer app at the time. It was doing stuff other games weren't doing with the full motion video and stuff like that. So a lot of problems with these first generation, first to do it type games is a lot of times you get a lot of flash, but you don't get the substance because it's, oh, look at pretty shiny new thing. Look what it's doing. Look at my CD-ROM is not useless anymore. It's running this, and so it's the whole, oh, it's new and shiny. And so at the time, you have people looking at it going, wow, that's full motion video. And, oh, the audio is great and this. And they're not clicking that I'm really miserable playing these puzzles, but, oh, look at the new cutscene. Ooh, And so later down, obviously, the killer app is not a killer app anymore because we're in the future and we're looking at this going, what?
Yeah. I suppose there's like some motivation when you're on key number 17 on the piano and you're like, yes, as soon as I get through this, I'm going to be able to see some more sweet CGI after this and full motion video.
I do like the early CG. It does have a cool look to it.
Yeah. If you're able to put yourself in the mindset that you're living in the 1990s and you got this brand new CD-ROM that you put into your computer, there is some charm to the game. Mm-hmm. If you think about it in that, mindset, if you're able to put yourself in that mindset.
Does anyone remember what was the show? Was it called Animorphs or Animal Morphs?
Yes, Animorphs.
Yes, where the kids would transform. Like anytime they did like a face distortion and stuff like that, it would kind of remind me of those early. Look, we can fade from a human face to a dog face or something like that.
Yeah.
And I loved it, especially like the very ending cinematic, like when he's like warping into this weird thing and turns
tongue's coming out. There's like a prehensile tongue coming out, grabbing the kid.
Okay, I do want to talk about that. I want to ask you a question. Did you find any part of this game scary? Since this is our Halloween game, was any part of this game scary?
There was nothing scary about this. It was made for mom.
I thought the doll room was a little bit creepy. There was a room that he had where he made all these dolls, and the kids were, I guess their essence was possessed into these dolls and that.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of creepy audio in there.
Yeah, hearing the kids screaming and stuff. Yes, that I'll admit that was a creepy part, just because you're dealing with children and supposedly their souls are trapped, or that's what I got for it and stuff. Yeah, that was probably the only thing that made me uneasy. It was more uneasy than scared.
Right,
I would have to say.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right, let's get to the ending here. Just because we got nothing else to say other than the puzzles suck. Later on in the game, you find out that there were 6 guests that were invited to this event or party. I don't know why these people all decided to show up at the house of the guy who killed all these kids with his creepy toys. But he was having a dinner party, so 6 guests showed up. It's revealed that there was a 7th guest, and the 7th guest was this child named Tad, who snuck in on a dare from his friends. He snuck into the house. And I guess that pissed off Henry Baby. He did not like this at all. And for somehow, I guess the kid was brought up to one of the guests, brings him up to the attic, and nasty bad things happen to this kid. And now this kid's essence or something is stuck in this loop, in this cycle. He goes through this all the time. He goes through the house, he solves puzzles, he ends up in the attic, and he ends up dying. And that's what you are, your ego, the character that you're playing as, turns out to be Tad. You are Tad. And I guess the purpose is to solve all the puzzles this time, and that somehow gets you out of this loop. Because you do, when you confront him, when you confront Henry Baby at the end, he sticks out this really long tongue on you and licks Tad. Like just wraps his tongue around him, and somehow a porthole opens up underneath Henry Baby, and he disappears.
Well, it turns into a skeleton.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Because you're letting go. You're finally realizing, no, I don't want to be trapped anymore. You beat all the puzzles. I'm not. It's you realizing I don't want to be I don't know, like a slave, or I don't want to be attached to this house anymore. Like I took it as he finally broke the loop, because he's like, no, I've done this before. I've been here. He finally realized this is an endless loop. I reject that. And so by him rejecting it, it engulfed Henry and turned him into a skeleton in a wheelchair and sucked into the depths of hell. See, I always assumed like the kid was always supposed to be there, because like one of those opening shots, like one of the guests gets a note, like, you know, basically hinting you're here for the seventh guest. You know, you're here for what you're supposed to do, because all the guests were told, if you find the secret of the mansion, your every dream will come true, or whatever, you know. And we get a couple times where you beat a puzzle and someone's like, oh, all this money, I get all this money. Wait, what's happening? And something horrible would happen, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So they're all under the assumption if they figure out the secret of the mansion, their dream will come true, you know, whether it be lust or money or power or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they kind of go through all that. Like, I think there's like a magician who wanted to be a real magician or something like that. Like every guest had a desire, and so that was the whole point. So I think Henry knew the kid was going to be there, and the whole point was the guests to find them and bring them to Henry so he can claim his soul or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was,
what I was thinking as you were explaining it like that is maybe Henry gets his ultimate desire to have this endless puzzle loop. You know what I mean? By doing this this horrible thing to all these people, he ends up making this loop that he can just have see people solve his crazy riddles forever. You know what I mean?
See, I kind of saw the house as like a prison for Henry's staff, because he did all those horrible things. And like I said, it kind of goes along with I kind of felt like he was possessed by this horrible, rotten demon, and now that's his penance. And so the only way he can continue doing these evil things is coaxing people to that house and making them do his bidding, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You think if Henry was such a genius, an evil genius, he would come up with better puzzles. You'd think, like, why is he ripping off stuff from 19th century?
The puzzles are evil. The puzzles are evil. No, it's exactly what they're supposed to be in one of those houses. We wouldn't last 2 seconds in an actual house like that with those kind of puzzles.
This is true. All right, I think we've pretty much said it all on Seventh Guest. Do you guys have any final thoughts at all about the game? Anything extra you want to say that you're dying to get out there? We're done. You said it all.
Is this where we yay or nay it?
We're going to yay or nay it. Okay, Sarah. Would you recommend Seventh Guest to anyone? Are you going to continue to play this game? Are you going to check out the sequel, 11th Hour?
No. Sorry.
Just big no's.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving
on.
Okay. Now, you've played Myst and Riven. We've kind of played those together.
Yes,
you like
I
those?
enjoyed those games.
Yeah.
And I also played Titanic Adventure Out of Time, and it had video within the game, similar to this one, but it was done so much better.
What year did that Titanic game come out?
came out in 96, I think.
Okay, so they had, might have aged a little better. Cause you got to think like this was like one of the first CD-ROM games, right?
Right.
So a game like that's had, other games to kind of steer them in the right direction kind of thing. So,
and honestly, I think I'm just biased. I like the newer games. I like them more developed. I like the graphics more. I seem to gravitate more towards those games, and so this one was just a little too dusty for me, I think.
What besides Titanic, what kind of game like this would you recommend? Like, are there more? Like, would you recommend Myst over this, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Now, Myst is very challenging. It does challenge you a great deal, but I found it so much more enjoyable overall. And play it with a friend even to help you along, and make sure you bring a pen and paper with you because you will have to write things down. But yeah, I Myst was a much better experience, I felt. So
Okay, fair enough. Ryan, yay or nay?
Nay. I'm being too harsh that I hate puzzle games. I like puzzle games that make sense. That, if you did think long and hard enough on it, you're going to get a solution. And I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. I'm going to admit that, but I like the idea of being able to work through a puzzle on my own and feeling satisfying. There were a lot of puzzles in this game that did not feel satisfying, and of course, like we've all said, we've had to use walkthroughs because it didn't make sense. It just seemed, and maybe if we would have sat there and tore our hair out for longer, maybe we would have eventually got it, but it wouldn't have been satisfying. It just would have been, I wasted my time on it. And the full motion video is funny. I enjoyed the cutscenes. I like camp. I like B-movie schlock. So I like the acting. That stuff was fun. But the stuff with the puzzles and everything in between, I just didn't enjoy. I can't recommend it.
Josh, what say you?
Okay, I'm pretty much on the same page as everybody else. I don't think this is a game that is really. If you really want to see the story, I would just say watch it on YouTube. Like, I think it has.
I could have done that.
And stuff.
Jeez, why didn't I do that?
Enough charm and stuff just to kind of see the story. I think that for the B-movie schlocky stuff, just watch the cutscenes and you get what I think is worthwhile from this game. The puzzles are kind of And honestly, I think that this game is very highly rated. Like, if you look up release like PC games for Halloween, that's what I was looking up. And I think I'm the one who brought this one out. It's like, hey, let's try this one because everybody's recommending it. It's so highly rated. I think that it's so highly rated because people have the nostalgia of seeing that CD-ROM technology for the first time. I think that's what that's what really made everybody like, hey, this game's awesome. Look how awesome this looks, And going back to it now, we're like, well, these puzzles don't really age well because they're, what were they, 19th century, whatever, puzzles. So we're just like, these puzzles kind of crappy, but we're all kind of saying the actual story and the B-movie stuff is fun to see. Like I said, if you want to see that stuff, I would say just watch it on YouTube, but I don't really think this is worth your time playing through, in my opinion. So it's not a recommendation. This is the first time. This is the first time book save.
We finally found.
Well, here we go, because it's going to be a universal nay on this game, because I can't recommend it either. I think, like I said, if you're able to put yourself in that mindset that it's an early 90s game, you might get some charm out of it. I could definitely see if you played this back in the day and you have nostalgia for it, I could definitely see that, because I think a lot of the music and moments in that are memorable. There's some good ideas in the game, even though the story doesn't make too much sense. It is a fun idea to be searching through this house and solving these puzzles and that. So the premise I do enjoy, but overall, it just doesn't have it with the puzzles. They're just not. It's not like as if I was trying to rush this game either. I was trying to enjoy it. But when you're on key number 13 of this piano thing, and it's really tedious to have him play through the entire 13 notes, and then you can finally hit the 13th note.
Right.
And then he goes through the entire up to the 14th note, and then you got to do it. It's, oh my, this is so tedious. It's just not fun. The puzzles just don't hold up. If they were more like the microscope one, this would be a high recommendation for me. But sadly, it's not. Okay, that's it. We said it all about Seventh Guest. Sorry. And by the way, this is Quick Save Club number 7. And we played the Seventh Guest. Fun fact. Pretty good.
We totally did that on purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we did get some questions at the hashtag #AskQuickSave, which you can ask us on Twitter. Just use the hashtag #AskQuickSave, and on our Discord channel as well. So let's just go through these. We got quite a few because we harassed our friends to ask us some questions. So the first question, of course, is it's friggin' Joe from SDC Pod. His question is, does Kevin need to be in every episode of the podcast? The answer is yes. I'm not a poser. I'm an actual gamer. I play the games. I need to vent about these games. I need to talk about these games when I play them. If I could just wear a tight shirt and stand in front of a shelf and flex my muscles and say, look at all these games I bought, and not play them and get clicks and views from doing that, absolutely I would do that. So Joe, I'm so jealous of you that you can just do that. But no, I am I'm a slob, and I play these games and I need to talk about them. So there is the answer to your question. Okay, our next question is from our Discord channel and is from Pam from Cannot Be Tamed. She asks, how do you think the puzzles in Seventh Guest compare to other adventure games? Well, we kind of answered that. What is the best and worst adventure game puzzle you can remember? For me, I probably, because we just recently played it, but it's definitely the file in the cake puzzle from Secret of Monkey Island, because I did look up the answer to that one, and I felt so stupid when I looked up the answer that it encouraged me not to look up any of the other answers for the rest of the game, and I'm so glad I did. And I think that is your indication right there, whether or not you're playing a good or bad puzzle game or point-and-click adventure or anything like that. If you look up the answer and you feel really dumb for looking up the answer and saying, I should have got that, that's your indication. That did not happen to me once while playing this game. In fact, I felt very justified for looking these up because I'm like, I would have never gotten that.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Sarah, do you got a favorite puzzle or anything that stick out to you? Or?
I thought, well, a puzzle.
A favorite, like a puzzle in a game. Like, this is something stick out to you, like a certain puzzle in any game.
I like those Tower of Hanoi games, puzzles where you've got 3 and you've got to switch them over to free. It's sort of similar to that. Well, the gate where you gain access to that maze.
Okay.
I kind of In this, yeah, like I don't mind those. Yeah, I don't mind those too much. Yeah. I don't mind those. I don't mind, where you've got a scrambled picture and you have to flip pictures around to make the actual image. I like those too. Whether
you play a lot of what's that puzzle one? It's like a jigsaw puzzle almost that you play all the time.
Glass Masquerade. Glass Masquerade. It's a puzzle game. It's all these cut little pieces that you have to put into basically a circle, like a watch, a timepiece, and it's quite intricate. And the pieces are not uniform like your average jigsaw puzzle piece. They're all jagged edges, and that's so much fun for me because I'm a very visual person. So I really love those puzzle games like that. But yeah, I could go on and on and
on. Brian, did you think of an answer?
Yeah, worst is many of the puzzles in this game. I'm not a puzzle game person, but yeah, like Baron and Mars said, since we did play Secret of Monkey Island, a lot of those puzzles I enjoyed because they made sense for the most part. I did enjoy tricking the troll George Lucas in Secret of Monkey Island.
That was pretty
good.
It
wasn't much of a puzzle, but I like puzzles with a sense of humor and stuff like that. But like I said, that's more recent come to mind because I don't play a lot of those games, and Secret of Monkey Island was just such a wonderful game, and I wish I was playing that so much when I was playing this game. I was just like, I want to go back to that game. But yeah.
All right, young Josh, got an answer for us?
You all know I don't have too much adventure game puzzle experience. But I mean, of course, I could say Secret of Monkey Island. I'll just say one of my favorite puzzles in general, I guess. The last area of Portal. There we go. Right as you escape the facility and you go fight Gladys. That's my favorite puzzle probably ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of puzzles in games that aren't exactly puzzle games. Like Zelda is notorious for its puzzles, and they're usually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I'm playing adventure games with the Quick Save Club because I really haven't played too many. So yeah,
cool. All right, our next question comes from Twitter again. It's from Travis. Trav plays games. Travis from the Polykill podcast. He says, what were your first scary movies? Who did you watch them with? What was the aftermath? I talked about this on our Friday the 13th episode of Retro Fandango, I think, when we still did movies in there and didn't spin off to Film Dango. The very first scary movie I saw was the first Friday the 13th. I watched it at a neighbor's house. They were actually like nasty people who wanted to get this small boy into their home and show him a really scary movie to give him nightmares. And that's what they did. I watched it on vinyl. This was back in the day when they had, you could actually watch movies on vinyl. You'd have to flip them over and all that. Yeah, I'm an old fart. And it was Nightmare City for months and months and months. Jason coming out of the water. And actually, when we did that episode, I guess it was a couple of years ago, and I had to watch Friday the 13th for the first time since I watched it when I was a kid. My God, was my stomach ever, like, I was ready for it in my gut. I was like all twisted up and ready for Jason to come out of the water. And when he came out of the water, it was like, my God, I was a stupid kid. That was it.
Right.
It wasn't, but it was still like, I still had that feeling in my stomach. So there you go. That was my first scary movie, and I didn't watch another scary movie for probably like until I was in my teens. I wouldn't even watch like something like Terminator or something like that because it just seemed too scary. Like the Alien movies, I didn't start watching until I was 11 or 12, until I was a bit older because they just seemed too scary. So yeah, Friday the 13th, the original, did a number on it.
I was exactly the same way. I never wanted to watch a scary movie, but there was this morbid curiosity about some of them when I was younger. So I started by trying to watch the TV versions of them first. You know how they have to edit all those down. And so I never watched it with anyone because my dad was never into horror movies, and I didn't really have any friends who were into horror movies. But, it always was around Halloween, of course. I'd be flicking through the station, and then one day, Child's Play was on. And this is why I hate dolls. Creepy dolls. And it was late at night, and I think my parents were in bed. And so I'm sitting there, and I had my hand on the remote because I kept flicking to another station anytime I thought something was going to be freaky about it. And I just remember Chucky. And for the longest time, like this it was the sequel. The first one was the sequel where he was at like a military camp for kids. And he was like, and one of the scenes that scarred me is they do this fake military fight where everyone's using paintball guns, right? But Chucky replaced one of the teams with paintball guns with real bullets. And I'm sitting here going, oh my God. And so the kids didn't know it. They were shooting at each other and actually killing each other. And I'm just like, I can't watch this movie anymore. This is messed up. Oh my God. And so, but I kept flicking away anytime something bad would happen. And eventually that moved on to Halloween. Moved on to Friday the 13th, and it was always the TV version. It was always the TV version. And eventually, my first horror movie I ever watched was, I started getting into the classics. It was that I purchased, I physically purchased, was A House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not really a horror movie, but it does have jump scares. And that sort of got me into, later on, I eventually bought Halloween, and I started to enjoy it. I was a lot older by then, but yeah, so it was one of those things where I started working my way backward, and I do enjoy Dracula and all those classic movies like Dracula and Frankenstein, the black and white, Universal horror movies and stuff. They're not really horror movies if you look back nowadays, but I always enjoyed those as well. But yeah, it always started with the TV movie one, and I distinctly remember being terrified of dolls, and still am to this day. If a doll's creepy enough, it's going to freak me out, thanks to Chucky and the Child's Play movies.
I like Child's Play. I've only seen the first one, and I really enjoyed it.
The second one's pretty good. The first one's I haven't seen the remake yet. I don't know if
with Mark Hamill as the voice.
Yeah. I heard it's good.
There's a remake.
Yeah,
it just came out this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's 2019. Everything's a remake. Get with the times.
Yep.
Josh, first horror film.
This is gonna make me sound young, but the first horror movie that I remember watching, because when I was a kid, my mom didn't really let us watch horror movies, and she's not really into that style of movie, so we kind of just didn't have them around. But my grandmother loved them a lot, so when we went over to my grandma's house, we would watch a horror movie, and this started when I was around 12 or 11 or around that age, and we watched The Ring. And
The Ring.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Ring.
Yeah, with my little brothers and my grandma, and I was scared of TV, like static, TV static for like the longest time because of that movie. But yeah, that whole weekend we watched a ton of horror movies. I might not have been the same.
Josh, hang on one second. I've never heard anyone say my grandma introduced me to horror movies. That is a new one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Your grandma's hardcore.
Yeah. My little brother, like, even to this day, when they lived near each other, they would go over and have like horror movie nights and stuff, still even to this day. So that's what I remember watching that with my two brothers and my grandma, and my grandpa didn't want to watch it. He's like, I don't care about that crap. He likes westerns and stuff like that, old school stuff. And he's like, I don't care. He went to bed, and we watched that late at night, had popcorn, and me and my brothers were scared of TVs and people coming out of them for a very long time. So yeah. Yep.
All right, Sarkasim. I know she's got like this history with slasher films. She always watches slasher films. Like, she watched Psycho 2 and 3 before she saw the original, and Sleepaway Camp, and what was it? Prom night?
Yeah. Would you like to tell these stories?
I am. I'm telling it for you right now. Okay, what was the first one? Well,
or Exorcist. I saw instead of seeing the original movie, I would see The Exorcist Part 2. I think George C. Scott was in that one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And or Jaws. Like, I didn't see the original Jaws. I saw the sequels. That kind of thing. But now I'm older. So when I was young, the big movies, the scary movies that kids wanted to watch were the Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah.
And Poltergeist. And those two were like, if you saw those films, you were cool. I remember finally seeing those films at a friend's house. She had a sleepover. And so I remember Amityville Horror. I remember blood in the toilet and stuff happening in the house and stuff, and like ghosts and all that stuff. And that was pretty scary when I was younger. And then Poltergeist in particular, there was they had the clown doll in the chair that was rocking back and forth. And I don't know if you guys saw Poltergeist or not, but yeah, here you've got scary dolls, and and the little girl. They're here with the TV, like all all the possible elements of a scary movie were there. But I remember a couple of years ago I watched Poltergeist just on a whim. It was on one of the movie channels, and I was like laughing my way through this movie.
Yeah, we watched it together. It was lame.
It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? It had been a long time since I had seen it. And then I guess further down the line, there was Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. That movie with and Leslie Nielsen's in that one too. And just the kill, and just the opening sequence. Have you guys seen this movie?
I haven't seen Prom Night. No.
And it had a very Canadian feel to it. The movie production had a very Canadian feel to it, and sure enough, it was filmed in Toronto. And and the little girl, I recently watched it, maybe few years ago. There's a little girl that has a dress that I had, the same dress when I was 7 years old. I was like, oh my God, just the similarities. Anyways, I enjoyed probably the first 40 minutes of that movie, and then the rest is pretty bad as an adult, But yeah, it's just you just remember certain sequences of that movie and just watching them. And then Kevin and I, of course, we've been watching the Psycho sequels over the last few days, and
Halloween
really brought up.
Well, you started
back some memories.
You started the whole sleepaway camp thing on Fandango. That was because we found the movie on YouTube, and you're like, you got to watch this movie, and I'm like, what the hell did I just watch?
Oh yes.
And then Randbox watched it, and it just became a whole thing. And oh my goodness, that's something else. That movie, Sleepaway Camp. Check it out on YouTube.
Camp.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube if you want a total mind you're on this journey of, boy, this is like a really just dumb slasher film to what the hell did I just watch? What did I just see?
Where is this going? Where is this going? And the surprise ending.
There you go. There's a plug for Sleepaway Camp. My goodness. And then go back and listen to the Fandango. It's somewhere in the past.
I've definitely watched...
Hey, quick plug, since you said Sleepaway Camp, and we're talking about puzzles, there is a video game called Sleepaway Camp, and it's a puzzle game where you play a serial killer, and within certain moves, you have to kill people at this camp, and it is called Sleepaway Camp, and you can find it on Steam.
Why didn't we play that?
We probably should have.
This game.
Was it any good?
Yeah, I don't. It is good. I've played it. It's a puzzle game, so I suck at it, but I should have mentioned that. The people who made this also made a very similar game of it also for Friday the 13th. And instead of the person in Sleepaway Camp, you're playing as Jason Voorhees. And that is actually free on Steam. So if you want to play a puzzle Friday the 13th game, go on Steam and look it up. And that's free.
And it's good?
Yeah, it's a simple little puzzle game. It has block textures. It's not super gory or anything, but it's fun. I own it. So you saying Sleepaway Camp, I'm like, wait, that sounds familiar. Right. And I look it up, and I'm just like, the game's called. I don't know if there's any connection to the movie.
Guarantee you there's no connection. Zero connection.
And scary games, guys. Do you guys play scary games
the scariest game I've played is probably Left 4 Dead 2. That's about for me.
Yeah, I played Amnesia, Dark Descent. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have that one.
It was a little. It was more cerebral horror. It had a couple of jump scares in it, but yeah. And I love Dead Space.
That's good.
That's a great series too.
Scary games don't bother me anymore. I'm just playing a game. You play Mario, the character dies. It's the same thing in a scary game. The character dies. You just go back to another save point and keep playing. They're fine. They don't. They used to Resident Evil used to oh man, this is really scary. But now it's just it's just whatever. Doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, there's the psychological horror ones where your character doesn't die. It just tries messing with your mind.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers me, man. I'm tough as nails, man. But we know what's scary is a roller coaster. That's scary. Putting your life in the hands of a carny. That's a scary thing. I don't know how you people do that. But video games,
love that.
All right, let's not get into roller coasters. Okay, we gotta get through this. We got 2 more questions, then we can wrap up the show. Okay, so these questions are really easy to answer. Mighty Q Dog on Twitter asked, are questions limited to only those about the game of the month? The answer is no. You can ask us anything. We just sat there and wasted a bunch of time talking about scary movies. And then at Stephen Eider needs attention because his latest fascination is Furbies for some reason, and he wants to know what we think of Furbies. Yes, Stephen, you are special because you are the only person out there collecting Furbies. And I think that's the answer he wants to hear. You are special. Ryan has something to say about Furbies. Come on. I'm trying to wrap up the show.
That's it.
I always thought Furbies were horrifying. Speaking of Child's Play, remake it, put Furbies in place. There you go.
There you go. That
will be horrifying. Those eyes are dead. You look into a Furby's eyes, they are digging into your soul.
I never understood.
Trying to find your deepest, darkest nightmares.
Are Furbies they look like owls or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could tell you one thing that was scary is, and this last thing, I had a Furby that caught on fire.
Whoa!
Yeah, because it was my brother was playing with it by the stove and it caught on fire, and a hairless, half burnt Furby is probably the most terrifying.
I've seen that online.
That'll haunt your dreams right there.
It is. It's like this weird exoskeleton. Somebody shared that online of something. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
So, I had that freaky Furby probably for years after that too. So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our big announcement time. Now that we're closing the book on the questions, don't forget, if you have a question for us, #AskQuickSave. Or go to the Discord. You can ask us there. There's a section there for just questions. And we'll talk about it on the show. It's good times. All right, so this is the point of the show where we normally tell you what game we have coming up within the next few months or whatever. I don't know what the hell. What am I talking about? What am I saying? We announce a game of the month, an upcoming game of the month. That's what we do. But we're doing something a little different. So next month, I'm just going to run through what we have coming up. Next month, or this month, depending on when you're listening to it, month of November 2019, Age of Empires. In December, PC simulators. Just pick a PC simulator and play that, and then we'll talk about PC simulators. I'm going to be playing American Truckers, American Truckin' Sim, whatever the heck that name is. That game is. Did you guys pick a sim yet? Still thinking about it?
I have no idea. As long as it has the word sim in the name, is that it, or is it just?
If you want to play The Sims, go ahead. Okay. Anything. If you want to just play a racing game, like I think Forza or any of the well, that's on the well, I guess it's on PC as well. But the Gran Turismo, that's like a racing simulator. Any of those things. Anything you want. Okay. Anything.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a laid back month because it's Christmas.
That's right. It's December.
Yeah, people are busy. Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. You want to put some time in there. If you just want to tell us about one of your favorite simulators, do that. So that's in December. January, we got Thief. February, we got Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. March, it's our 1 year anniversary in March, and we're going to be playing Duke Nukem 3D. And then in April, we're going to be playing Terraria. So now, for the game of the month of May, we are reaching out to you, dear listener, and we want your help in picking the game of the month for May 2020. So what us three hosts did was we picked a game, and then we're going to put a poll on the Twitter, and you're going to go to the Twitter and you're going to pick which one of these games you want to be the game of the month for May 2020. So I picked, because I've been playing The Outer Worlds, and it is a fantastic RPG by Obsidian. I've been wanting and itching to go back and playing Fallout New Vegas, a game that they had made previously. And the only reason is it got an interesting history with that game. Did you know that game came out and it didn't get very good reviews because Bethesda rushed them to get it out? So a lot of the problems with that game were little glitches and things, that they had to patch in later. But the early reviews, of course, were not very good. And because the early reviews were not very good, they didn't get a very high Metacritic score. And Obsidian didn't give them a bonus because they didn't reach... Bethesda, didn't give them a bonus because they didn't
reach a threshold.
They didn't get like past a certain Metacritic score. But the only reason it didn't get a high Metacritic score was because they rushed them to the finish line, and they had to put out a game that needed to be patched. Just ridiculous stuff.
Isn't it nowadays people prefer New Vegas over Fallout 3?
Well, because it's been patched, and if it's been fixed and everything like that, and it actually has the better story. So that's why I'm itching to play that. So I go back and play it again. I played it when it first came out. I don't think I ran into too many problems. I did play it on the 360, which I believe was the lead at the time for it. So I need the superior experience. I need the best experience. I need to play this game on PC. So that's why I'm campaigning for this game to win for May 2020. So head over to the polls and vote for Fallout New Vegas. All right, Josh, you want to tell us?
Quite a pitch.
That's it. Josh, you want to tell us about this weird, obscure... what is this, like an indie game or something like that? I don't know. I don't think people should pick it. I think they should pick it.
I think people should pick it because it's a PC exclusive indie game. And it's made by one guy. It's called Antichamber. And it's very Portal-esque. So first person puzzle solving. And it's very intricate and unique. And you've never seen a game like this. Go watch a trailer for it. You've never seen puzzles like this. It plays with space and momentum and colors and just really weird and fun ways. And I have never played all the way through it. So this was a good opportunity to actually play this. And I've been kind of having like that. I want a Portal 3. I want more Portal style games in my life. And this is supposedly a lot like that. I don't know if it has a similar humor to it, but it does have that similar puzzle style. So my thing that I think you guys should vote for, my game for May 2020 is Antichamber. And I'm going to stick by that. I was going to change it. And I'm like, you know what? Underdogs win sometimes. This is the underdog. And you guys vote for the underdog. All right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Go. Sounds good.
If I could be honest for a second, it does sound very interesting. And I am very curious about the game. It sounds like something that would be up my alley. So I do want to check it out at some point. But not in May of 2020. I'm going to be busy playing Fallout New Vegas. All right. I can't knock this game, Ryan, but I've already played them, so that's why I don't want to play it again. So, which one are you picking? Are you picking one or two? Which one are you doing?
Wow, geez almighty. I figure I'll just start with the first one. People, to get into it. The second one is the better one, but the first one has a lot of the lore to it that carries over to the second one. But I'm a big action RPG fan, especially when it comes to games that aren't like the mainstream one, like Diablo and stuff like that. I fell in love with this little game called Torchlight, and it's pretty simple. It basically is a lot like Diablo, where you dungeon crawl down, go lower levels, and you just get stronger. You level up. You have all that good jazz. But there was a charm to it that made it great. You know what? Torchlight 2. We're going Torchlight.
Okay, wow. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Because no. Because we did Diablo already. And so a lot of people are going to look at it and go, no, we've already played Diablo. But Torchlight 2, I think we're going to start with that one.
Okay.
That's what we're
fair enough.
Because that one opens up. It has more environments to it. Like I said, we did the dungeon crawl thing with Diablo. Torchlight, while excellent, a lot of people will see it as, well, this is just like Diablo only with cleaner graphics, blah, blah, blah. So Torchlight 2 has a lot more story to it, lets you expand, lets you go places. It's a fun action RPG that just it has character classes. It's moddable to all heck, especially on Steam, where they have a workshop for it. That's super fun, But if you like action RPGs, this is my all-time favorite action RPG. It's Torchlight 2. Plus, May is also the same month as my anniversary with my wife. So if you vote for me. You're
Come
voting. Come
on, that's cheating.
Especially on the 14th, if you vote for this game, it'll be a nice anniversary present for me and my wife. Because there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say that Torchlight, this Torchlight series 1 and 2, it was people who did work on Diablo. They left Blizzard and they did make these games, and they have become, to me, they are the gold standard of what an action RPG should be in the post Diablo 2 era.
Sadly, they went under, unfortunately.
Yeah, they came out with that Hob, I believe was that other game, and it
Hob.
didn't do too well.
Hob.
And it's too bad. I really want to play Hob. That looks like a fun.
I haven't played it either.
It looks like a fun Zelda clone. Actually, that game, I think it's issue that people had with it is that it was like playing only the puzzles from Zelda. There wasn't a lot of action adventure in it.
Oh, okay.
Which it's unfortunate though. Those Torchlight 1 and 2 are fantastic, and yeah. Sarah, what would you pick out of all those three, if you had to choose?
I love Torchlight.
Oh, come on! What a poor New Vegas. Come on.
Yeah.
I love Torchlight.
Actually, yeah, we've played because you play co-op.
We did a lot of time with Torchlight.
Plus, Torchlight 2 does have co-op.
Yeah.
We could get a whole party together to play. Everyone who's going to be on the podcast can play a session together. That's actually great.
And the mods are very well done. Just like how you can stack your items and stuff like that. There's tons and tons of mods on there. You can get mods that they're all they put them together as a bundle. So it's like if you just want enhanced graphics, or you just want better inventory management, you can just get bundles of Torchlight mods and put them into the game.
Or if you want a class that is super OP and can just annihilate everything,
yeah, that's true.
There's a mod for that.
That's true too.
It's cool when we play this game eventually. It's fine. Yeah. But in May 2020, when we're playing Antichamber, we can you'll plan it for the future.
You'll be playing it on your own because everyone's going to vote for Fallout New Vegas. That's the new hotness.
I see what you think about my marriage. I understand. I see how. I get it. No, it's fine. I thought we were all friends here, but I see now.
All right. So, Josh, you as our social media captain, if you will, when are we putting up this poll? Are we putting it up this coming month?
I'm going to wait a few days into November, probably like around November 5th, and I'm going to leave it up for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
So
then we'll announce the winner. For the people who don't check out the poll, who wins the poll, we'll announce the winner.
I can do it till the end of the month if you think that's better. Either way.
2 weeks is good. 2 weeks is good.
2 weeks?
Yeah, because we might... You never know if we have to record earlier because of scheduling and all that. So 2 weeks is fine. And then So if you're listening to this and you listen to this early enough, the poll is likely up on the Quick Save Club.
Does
go ahead,
Discord have a poll? Can you put a poll in Discord as well? I can't remember.
I don't. How would we figure out how many?
I just put it on Twitter and share it everywhere.
That's it. Twitter's good.
Yeah, just do it. Just put that on Discord too. Then the Twitter one. Whatever. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, check that out, and then we'll announce the winner in the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I think we've done everything. We've said it all. We're ready to wrap up. Sarkis Sim, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Happy belated anniversary. Forgot to mention it on Monday.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a slice.
Thank you for. Yep.
When are you coming back? What game do we need to play in order to get you back?
Me?
Yeah. What game of the month do we need to pick in order to get you back? What's the game that you're like I would if you guys are playing that game I need to be on? What is it? Tell us right now.
I have no idea.
No idea? Okay, we'll look that up.
No.
Does Steam have no idea? No. Don't know? Okay. All right. What about Torchlight 2?
I do like that game.
Oh, so if you want to hear Sarah again on this show, you got to vote for Torchlight 2?
All of a sudden?
Yeah.
It's like 7th guest. Would you like to be a guest?
What if we pick 11th Hour, would you come back?
No.
I don't think...
Not happening. All right.
What if it's one of those things where the sequel is like leaps and bounds better than the first one? Like, what if 11th?
Well, all I could say is that it didn't review as well as the 7th guest. It's not as regarded as highly as the 7th guest. It might.
They came to their senses. That's what happened.
Maybe, or just the whole CD-ROM thing. Like the allure, whatever made that game special when it first came out. It was done. By the time they came out with the sequel.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? It might be a great game, for all I know. I haven't played it. Okay. That's it. I think we're done. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, co-host.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Right. Goodbye. Crash the computer. Bye-bye.
Bonk.
11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7.
Gang's all here.
All right. Okay.
So where are you starting at?
You're stripping down, Kevin?
Yeah. Well, that's how we start every episode, didn't you know? I do these naked. Do these in the nude.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's really wearing a green screen shirt right now, so he can put whatever he wants on in post-processing.
It's okay. I fuzz my background when I take off my clothes, so it balances out.
Mm-hmm.